It started like any other morning rotation at Buckingham Palace. The changing of the guard had just begun, scarlet tunics shining, boots polished to perfection. Tourists lined the gates, cameras ready, children hoisted on shoulders. And then someone noticed a fifth man. He stood by the gates, motionless, not in formation, not on the schedule, but everything about him was correct. Uniform, rifle, even the regulation glint in his brass buttons. Still, silent, perfect. Captain William Rees approached. "Name and station?" he asked, one hand drifting to his sidearm. The man slowly turned his head, eyes sharp and focused. "Private Charles Harrow, Grenadier Guards, South Wing Night Watch." Rees blinked. That name belonged to a man who'd been declared dead 17 years ago. The military moved quickly. Charles was taken into custody, but not as a criminal. More like a question that needed answering. He answered calmly, respectfully. He remembered his unit number, his commanding officer's name, the serial code on his rifle. He even recited the Royal Protocol Handbook, word for word, but small details didn't fit. He asked for ration kits discontinued in 2007. He didn't recognize smartphones. He called Prince William the Young Prince. They checked his ID, DNA, fingerprints, all matched. They even scanned an old injury in his left shin, one he sustained during a fall from a palace stairwell in 2002. And yet, this man standing before them hadn't aged. Not a wrinkle, not a change in gait. The official report read, "Subject Charles Harrow, alive, physically identical, mentally intact, chronologically impossible." 4 days after his return, Charles was granted one escorted walk inside the palace courtyard. He stopped mid-step, eyes fixed on a corner of the stone wall. "It wasn't fog," he whispered. "What wasn't?" Rees asked. "That night, in 2004, they said it was fog, but it was something else. It was humming." Flashback sequence. Rain. Midnight patrol. South Wing. Charles radios in. Movement in the South Wing, requesting backup. He hears a sound, like breathing, but metallic. Then, white light. And silence. When the flashback ends, Charles is shaking. "I don't think I left. I think I stayed there, wherever that is." Security grew concerned. Guards reported hearing boots marching in empty hallways. One officer saw Charles's reflection in a mirror that shouldn't reflect that angle. Even stranger, 2 guards claimed they saw him standing post while also asleep in his room. Psych evaluations failed. He wasn't delusional. He was consistent. But one detail kept returning. "I was told not to speak, just hold position. They said if I did, I'd forget everything again." "Who told you that, Charles?" "The man in the black sash, with no face." Captain Rees couldn't sleep. Something was gnawing at him. So at exactly 3:07 a.m., the hour Charles vanished, he returned to the South Wing. To his shock, Charles was already there, in full uniform, staring at the far stone wall. "You're not supposed to be here," Charles said. Rees asked, "Why do you keep coming back here?" "Because I never left." Suddenly, a low hum began to fill the air. Lights flickered. Stone began to pulse, softly, like it was breathing. Rees's ears popped. A heavy pressure built in his chest. Then, Charles turned. "Tell them not to bring me back again. It's not worth the pain." "What are you talking about?" Rees shouted over the noise. "Each time I come back, I remember less. This time, I forgot my sister." Charles stepped into the fog that was forming behind the wall. "Next time, I might forget what I am." Then he vanished. 2 weeks after Charles's second disappearance, the palace returned to its routines. at least on the surface. But something had changed. Tourists unknowingly avoided the south wing. Guards refused night patrol assignments near that corridor, even if they wouldn't admit why. And one morning, the sergeant on duty noticed something bizarre. In the official guard registry, Charles Harrow's name had reappeared. Not handwritten, not added, printed, logged digitally, backdated. It said he had been on post every day since 2004. That afternoon, the Palace IT team reported system logs showing log-in attempts from a user ID deactivated 17 years ago, from inside the building. Captain Reese, now obsessed, requested access to the royal vaults, a subterranean archive beneath the palace. It housed personnel records, tactical reports, and internal incident files, some dating back to the 1800s. What he found chilled him. A 1906 report describing a guard who vanished during fog reappeared weeks later, unchanged in body but altered in memory, and later faded again. A drawing from 1782. The uniform was familiar, but the face nearly ident to Charles Harrow. An old red leather-bound volume labeled Echo Posts, Sightings and Anomalies. Inside were dozens of entries, all dated November 5th. It wasn't new. Some men, the book read, don't serve time. They serve place. In coordination with MOD intelligence, a decision was made. Recreate the 2004 conditions. Same time, same patrol route, same equipment, same radio frequency. Reese volunteered to take the post. 3 a.m., cold. Fog creeping in unnaturally fast. 3 a.m. The air turned dense. A metallic hum, barely audible, vibrated through the stone. And then, Reese saw him, Charles, standing where he vanished, unblinking, still. "You came," Charles said. "You shouldn't have." "What is this?" Reese asked. "Where do you go?" Charles blinked, slowly, like it hurt. "There's no place, just memory. The palace doesn't forget. It collects." He held out something. A letter, folded. "Give this to Sarah Harrow," Charles said. "Your sister?" Reese asked. "The one you forgot?" Charles hesitated. "I didn't forget her this time, but I will soon." Then he turned, took 3 steps into the fog, and vanished. Sarah Harrow hadn't heard from her brother in over 2 decades. His disappearance shattered their family. Their father died never knowing the truth. When Reese arrived at her home with the letter, her hands shook opening it. The note read, "Dear Sarah, I think I died once. Maybe more than once. But something in that place, it brought me back, like a watch winding itself. Each time I remember less. But I never forget you first. Please forgive me if someday I don't remember you at all. That only means I've gone too far." Below the signature, a hand-drawn poppy, the same kind Charles used to draw as a boy. Present day. Every year on November 5th, the same glitch occurs on CCTV, always at 3:07 a.m. Security teams call it the flicker. Most ignore it, but Reese watches it every year. In that one-frame image, a tall man in red uniform, rifle in hand, face expressionless. But last year, something changed. For the first time, there were 2 guards standing in the frame. Reese checked all duty logs, all footage. Only 1 guard had been assigned, and he was seen unconscious moments before. So, who was the second? The Royal Guard never officially commented. But behind closed doors, a new term was quietly added to the classified watch list. Echo sentries, entities resembling former guards, observed during memory-aligned phenomena, non-aggressive, stationary, recurrent. Some believe the palace remembers its lost. Others believe it replays what it refuses to release. But Sarah keeps the letter in a frame on her mantel. And once a year, on a foggy November night, she places a single poppy at the palace gates and whispers, "Still watching, still waiting, still proud. What if the places we protect start remembering us back?" Subscribe for more haunting mysteries inspired by truth, history, and the strange thin line between presence and disappearance. Some guards don't leave their post. They become it.